everyone. I'm Brooke Bland. I'm the STEAM coordinator for Girl Scouts Diamonds of Arkansas, Oklahoma, and Texas. I'm coming to you from my backyard again on this beautiful, sunny, kind of cloudy day. Before we get started with our activity, I wanted to give you a little background information on how I got the idea for this activity. So I am originally from the great state of Texas in a small town named Johnson City, and my family still lives there. And I was talking to my mamaw the other day on the phone, and she was telling me about some heavy whipping cream she had left over in her fridge, and she decided to make butter with it. And I thought that was a great idea, and she recommended that I do it. So shout out to my family back in Texas, and today we're going to be doing some culinary science and making homemade butter. So what you're going to need today, you're going to need some heavy whipping cream. I just got some from Walmart. You're going to need some type of mixer. I have a hand mixer. I think that's what you call this. I don't know. You can also use like a whisk to stir, a jar. You'll need some utensils. I have a fork and a spoon and a knife somewhere around here. Some Tupperware or another jar to put your butter in. And if you want to make some sort of flavored butter, you'll need that. So if you want to make like almond butter, cinnamon butter, honey, garlic, you'll just need those additional flavors. So there are two ways you can do this. The first way, you can fill your jar about halfway up and shake it, or you can pour your heavy whipping cream into a bowl and mix it. I'm going to be doing the latter of the two, but I will be posting the instructions for the other way, and then I'll also be quickly walking through how to do that. So if you have a jar, you will set the heavy whipping cream out for about 5 hours to let it get to room temperature, and you'll pour about half a jar of it, and you'll screw the lid on, and now you're going to shake it. You're not just going to lightly shake, you're going to have to really shake it with some pretty strong force. And after about 10 minutes, it'll be whipped cream. And then after about another 10 or 15 minutes, and that's when you'll really see the separation from the buttermilk to the butter. And that's pretty much how you do that way. Today, like I said, we're going to be walking through the hand mixing way. So to get started, we are going to open up our heavy whipping cream. You're going to peel the tab off. Don't make a mess. Just kidding. Messes are fun as long as we clean them up. So I'm going to take it. I'm actually going to do the whole 32 ounces just because I bought it. I want to see what it looks like. So I'm going to pour all of it in here. It's kind of like the consistency of milk, and I am making a mess. It's splattering everywhere. Okay, so I have my empty carton. I'm going to save this. I can make a balloon car or something out of it, and you can make some sort of craft out of it, so make sure you recycle it. Next, I'm going to turn on the mixer. Now, when I turn this on, I am not sure if the heavy whipping cream is going to fly everywhere, so if it does, yeah, we'll just see. Okay, so I'm going to put my mixer into my cream. I'm going to see if I can tilt this camera down so you can see it. You can see it a little bit, so I'm just going to hold it up so you can just see for a couple seconds. So I'm going to turn it on. I'm just going to start mixing. So I'm going to pause the video while I mix, and then I'll come back after it gets to be about whipped cream. Okay? So I'm not quite done mixing yet, but I just wanted to share a few fun facts about this. So I'm going to be mixing and talking at the same time. I'm going to try to talk a little bit louder so you can hear me. So I'm sure some of you are asking, like, what's the science behind this? How is this science? So when you first start mixing the cream is nothing but milk fat, and it's got lipids, it has its own fats and stuff like that. So when the cream is actually stirred, oh, there's a bug on my face, or mixed up, the fat molecules clump together and they leave out a watery milk substance. So eventually, with enough agitation or mixing, the fat molecules become so clumped together that it forms butter and buttermilk. So there's a physical change that happens when butter is originally churned, mixed, shaked, shooken. The fat molecules just become together and they clump together. And this cool fact, this is absolutely reversible. So if once we make our butter and our buttermilk, we can turn it back to heavy mixing cream. So we would melt our butter and mix back in our heavy whipping, or our buttermilk and our butter, and we would form the cream again. Those are a few fun facts about it. I'm going to continue to mix. It's getting thicker. I will show you. Let me turn my mixer off. It is a little bit thicker now, so not sure if you can tell, but it's not as liquidy and it's kind of grown a little bit, and there's some yellow bubbles in it. So we're gonna keep doing this, and I will be back with you in a couple of minutes. Okay guys, so I have been mixing for about 5 minutes. I'm gonna turn my mixer down for about 5 minutes, and I am starting to get whipped cream. I'm going to pick up my bowl and hopefully not spill it, and so you're able to see. So I don't know if you can, whoa, I just spilled it! Hold on 1 second. Okay guys, I'm back. We had to move, that's okay. So this is what I was trying to show you. So my heavy cream is now, it has some peaks on it, and so it is now whipped cream. So I'm gonna keep going. It's pretty thick right now, and so once you get to this point, you're almost to butter, so you just have to keep your mixer going, keep mixing it until you start to see the separation of the buttermilk and the solid butter. So I will be back when I am a little bit closer to making butter. So I'm not quite to butter yet, but I forgot to share something funny with y'all. So if you don't have a mixer or you don't want to shake it, if you have a whisk and a drill, you can put your whisk into your drill bit area and turn on your drill and make a mixer. My sisters and brother live in San Antonio, and they were making a pie the other day, and they sent me a video of them doing that. So I do know it works. So fun fact, if you don't have one of these, you can also do that. Okay guys, I am almost to butter. If you see this, it's kind of grainy looking. I don't see any buttermilk yet, but I'm going to keep mixing. But here's a quick update on what mine looks like about after probably 15 minutes of using my hand mixer. So we'll be back. Okay guys, so I think I have butter. I have a separation between my solid and my liquid milk. I know you can't see this really well, so I'm gonna put it in a strainer, and I forgot to tell you all at the beginning, but you'll need some sort of strainer. I just have one of these at my house, so I don't have one that's really fine, but we are going to make it work. So I have a strainer and I have a bowl, and I am going to put the strainer, I'm going to tilt this down a little bit for you. I'm going to put the strainer on top of the bowl like this, and then I'm going to pour the contents of my mixing bowl into it. Okay, so I poured my butter and my buttermilk into the strainer, and mine is not completely solid yet, and that's because it does still have some buttermilk in it. So I'm taking my fork and let me tilt the camera down just a little bit. So I'm taking my fork and I am pressing it against the butter to make sure that all the buttermilk gets out. And in just a second, I will show y'all my buttermilk. I'm gonna try to get as much liquid out of this as I can so I don't make an even bigger mess than I already have. Again, my neighbor just decided to start mowing, so it was getting a little bit too noisy. So I just was going to move in here to finish. So what I was saying was I took my butter and I put it in a strainer, and I used a spoon and a spatula, and I kind of pressed the butter against the strainer, and I pressed out my buttermilk. I don't want to tip this, we don't want to spill it again, so I'm going to tilt down the camera just a little bit. So there's my buttermilk. So you can use buttermilk to make homemade biscuits, homemade buttermilk waffles. So I'm going to save this, and this weekend I might make some waffles or some biscuits with it. And with my butter, I'm going to put it in a jar. I'm going to let it set probably overnight in the strainer, actually probably not overnight, probably just for a couple hours. And I'm going to let more of the buttermilk kind of drip out into another bowl, and then when it drips out and I think it's dry, I'm going to pour it in there, and I'm going to put my butter in a jar. So, okay, your butter at room temperature can last about 3 to 5 days, and in the fridge 7 to 10 days. So make sure you don't eat any bad butter, and make sure you store it with a lid just so it stays fresh. And that is how you make homemade butter. I hope you enjoyed making homemade butter with me today. And remember, if you ever want to reverse your butter and buttermilk and make heavy whipping cream, you can always melt your butter and mix it with your buttermilk and make your cream again. So from all of us at Girl Scouts Diamonds, I hope you have a great day. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Bye.